Yo, thank you all for joining me. Apologies for the lateness. Apologies for the lateness. We've had some technical difficulties, but you know what? We're here now. We're here now. Hopefully you guys can hear me. Can you hear me? Can they hear me, MD? Yeah, they can hear me. Sorry about that, folks. Welcome one, welcome all. Listen, you lot just grab a seat, right? Grab some popcorn, grab a drink, grab a smoke, whatever it is that you do. We're going to be going into the copyright striking. We're also going to be going into some of the Manosphere, and we're going to be going into Pearl as well. I think there are some things that need to be addressed since I've been gone. A lot of you have been asking where I've been. But before we get started on that, I am going to say thank you. And I want to say thank you to all of the YouTube content creators from behind the scenes who have given me their ear, who have given me their advice, who have helped me beat these copyright strikes. They were illegal copyright strikes. And I'm glad that I'm now back on YouTube so I can start doing content again. So yeah, what happened? Basically, what happened was that I was working for Just Pearly Things for a year, and I recently released a video called Who is Pearl? And in that video, I chose to talk about my experiences while I was working with Pearl. And subsequently, what she chose to do was she chose to copyright strike illegally, copyright strike my channel. And for that, I was not able to post for a while, and other people were able to make videos and content slandering me while I was gone. So I wasn't able to make the content that I wanted. So if we first of all, let's go into the what Pearl actually done. If you play the first video for the copyright strike, please.
So this is what Just Pearly Things is doing now. She's copyright striking my YouTube channel with all of the content that me and her made, even though we haven't signed any contracts and we were on an agreement. That is both of our podcast. This is what she's done. She's copyright striked all of this content.
So that is what she done. Okay, there were I think up to 11 videos that were copyright struck. But what I wanted to explain was that for people who know or didn't know, I was working with her, and these pieces of content were absolutely fine on my channel while we were working together. It's not until we stopped working together and I done my video that she wanted to strike the video. So I would always say, why now? Why while we were working together were these videos okay? But as soon as, you know, I chose to do my video, all of a sudden now you want to copyright strike my video. This is an abuse of the system. And that's something that I want people to understand. Like, Pearl is an abuser of the system, and she's also a bully. Okay, she's a bully of the system. And what I watched during those last days was her go around to other people's channels saying things like, I'm gonna come for everybody just wait. And for me, I don't like bullies. I am cool with everybody generally, but if I see people running around trying to bully people, then I say, well, sometimes a bully needs to be bullied. Someone needs to stand up to the bully. And that's what I believe I did. I believe I stood up to the bully, and what she subsequently wanted to do was to silence my voice, was to cut out my tongue, metaphorically. Now, a lot of things have been said, but people have not called me a liar. People have said a lot of things while I've been gone. They've slandered me. They've lied about me. They've said all kinds of things, but I'm not a liar. She knows I'm not a liar. I know I'm not a liar. And that has not been said. I literally pointed out a mindset, a colonial mindset from my experience. And I attempted to shed light on that colonial mindset. And the response, what it has done is that it has caused a huge chasm within the manosphere space. Okay. I metaphorically pointed my gun at a colonial mindset, and the response was other Black people attacking me. Now, I want people to actually think about this. I want you to think about it. If I'm metaphorically shooting at a target and then people jump in the way of a bullet that is not meant for them, and then they start complaining that they were shot, that's got nothing to do with me. I'm seeing videos from people who I have no clue who they are. I have no idea who you are. Okay. I was with this woman for a whole year. I know her, she knows me. I don't know half of you, most of you guys who are making these videos, okay, about me. But why is it that it's taken me shooting at a colonial mindset for it to show exactly what people are like when, quote unquote, master is challenged? A load of Black men that came out of the manosphere space to defend their master, and it was sad to watch. I'm not gonna lie, people, it was really, really sad to watch. I was on that video and I actually tried to explain to Pearl. The video was called Who is Pearl? And there was a part of the video where I said colonialism was when a European comes to Africa to use the resources and use the land, build up their wealth while denigrating the wealth of other people. And that is what colonization actually is. But there's a thing with Pearl, and she's so dogmatic in her thinking. Remember, I did not inject race into this conversation. It was her. It was her and Nick Fuentes. I don't play the race card. The race card isn't something that I always play. I am only speaking about it when it comes to race due to the fact that she injected race into the conversation. She's the one that said slavery was embellished. She's the one that called Black people, quote unquote, her Africans. It wasn't me. Okay. So I know a lot of people find the race conversation uncomfortable, you know, but the race conversation was not injected into this discourse by me. It was injected into somebody who has such dogmatic thinking. And I'm trying to understand while I was there, how do you get so dogmatic in your thinking and you're only 26 years old? This is what I don't understand. As a matter of fact, D, let's see how dogmatic in thinking she was. Can we play that George Washington video, please?
Would you say George Washington was a real man?
I don't know enough about him.
You guys don't too. You don't know George?
We're
really?
UK,
Nothing?
like you don't know about George Washington.
Yeah, fair enough. I just think like if someone's a great and powerful man in history to the point like they're talking about him hundreds of years later, he didn't have any kids, but like,
did he own slaves?
What?
Did he own slaves? George Washington.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, not a real man to me. I'm just saying.
No, it's actually interesting. He had a different, like he inherited his slaves. And it wasn't as simple as he could have just like let them go because the debt that's incurred on them, like you can't just release them. And so his slaves actually, like he had a really good relationship with them and they considered him like a dad. Oddly enough, like a lot of all of his inheritance went to his slaves.
I mean, I hear that, but I just can't take a man seriously if you're owning other people.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like that's just for me.
Yeah. No, I mean.
Yo. So this is how dogmatic when it comes to race she can be. She would sit and say that slave masters are real men, and slave masters are like a father to their slaves. Now, only someone who does not have experience when it comes to slavery, only somebody who does not have experience when it comes to colonization would say something like that. Only somebody who doesn't know what, even if that is true, only somebody that doesn't know what Stockholm syndrome is would say something like that. And I've said it in my last video and I'll say it again. If I stood up or if I was on a platform and I said, the Jewish people saw Hitler as a father figure, if I said that, there would be an uproar. Okay? There would be no way a person would be able to say that. And I don't think that, by the way, but I'm saying there would be an uproar if that was to happen. However, this woman can sit there and say and think that slave masters are like fathers? Are like fathers? Really? That's how slave masters are? This woman, like I said, was disingenuous in her apology. I said this in my last video. She was disingenuous. She has since gone on to retract that apology, and she's since gone on to act as if her apology wasn't really an apology. Okay? D, play that liar video for me, please.
Well, but I will say I did not find Nick to be racist. My staff actually did not find him to be racist. My staff actually did not find him to be racist. My staff actually did not find him to be racist.
And I said in the video, I am not defending her. And I said in the video, I'm checking her, and I held her accountable, and I told her she has to address the things she said. And I said to her that it wasn't a good idea having Nick Fuentes on there. And I said that he is a racist, bruv. And I said that he is a racist, bruv. And I said that he is a racist, bruv.
My staff actually did not find him to be racist. My staff actually did not find him to be racist.
And I said that he is a racist, bruv. And I told her how her words were going to affect black people and why they're not going to like what she said.
I've heard it, but I've just never heard it like that, I guess. So we just brought him on a panel just about race mixing, about race mixing, and they did a whole panel on it.
But then he was denying the Holocaust.
You know, that was crazy. Yeah, that was.
But that's what he does. That's why I'm asking you.
Well,
why...
but we brought him on to talk about race mixing. That's what we brought him on. Now, we're actually not talking about race mixing. Not talking about race mixing. Not talking about race mixing. Maybe, yeah, maybe.
Okay, yeah. So that's why I'm asking you, because you do have controversial guests, as we do, and there's nothing wrong with talking to people who are controversial, but Nick Fuentes is a very different kettle of fish, as we say here, right?
Yeah, my opinion is that he was polite overall. He was a good guest.
He was also denying the Holocaust, from what I remember.
Look, I'm not with that. Keep me out of that one. Keep me out of that one. Keep me out of that one. Keep me out of that one.
Yeah, that's what liars do, guys. That is what liars do. Before I even continue, I want to say shout out to the super chat crew. Duke the Don says, salute, brother. Keep up the good work. Thank you, Duke the Don. Take heed to the message. Says, all you did was speak the truth, and all the supermen ran to rescue her. It was heartbreaking. I agree, bro. I really do agree. Donat TM says, ban Pearl, violation of DMCA 17 USC section 512F. I'm telling you. What I'm gonna do later on, in a minute, as I'm gonna share the link. Have you shared the link here, D? I'm gonna share the link so you guys can come in. And oh, there's already people waiting. Okay, before we continue, let's speak to one of the people first and say hi. Yeah, put them through, please, D. How you doing? Hello, hello, hello. How you doing?
Hi, Sarah.
Hello, hello. How you doing? How you doing? I've got one.
Hello, hello. How you doing?
Oh, you've actually got the stream replaying. Could you mute your stream, please?
I've got one. Hello, hello. How you doing?
Oh, you've actually got the stream replaying. Can you hear me? I can hear you. How's it going?
Yeah, man. Keep up the good work, bro. We see you here. My girlfriend has got a YouTube channel called Caminos. We've been on Pearl's show. I commend you for coming out and not selling out. You're a true representation of what I want this society we live in to understand about the Black man. You know, certain people still have their integrity, regardless how much or regardless how much is being thrown at them, or if they're under the lights, or how much criticism they get, they still stand. You know, they still stand by their word. Just wanted to sort of share some thoughts with you, though.
Yeah, go for it.
I kind of saw this coming, you know, well before this. I mean, it's interesting now that people tend to, when she said stuff now about the Black community, it's sort of blown up. But well before then, she was saying a lot of stuff about, you know, women in general, about how bring back bullying. So I mean, how did that make? Did you know at the time? Was it more like you agreed with it, but you now sort of find yourself having to speak up because you see she's now said something about your race?
I would say this. I still agree with the things that I said while I was on the show. If you look at it, the shows that we done, we spoke about, you know, single motherhood. We spoke about modern day women. I still stand by the things that I said. But I can't stand by somebody with a colonial mindset. I just something I can't do. And so, like I said, it's been spun to make it seem like it was about a contract, and it wasn't about a contract.
Right.
It was actually about the things that I experienced and the things that I felt while I was there. So yeah, I'm just not for sale. I'm not for sale, and that means like spiritually and physically. You know, I'm actually just not for sale. So yeah, that's what happened there.
Because obviously you do come across as quite learned and a very smart guy. So I do have the suspicion you probably sort of knew what Pearl was about well before some of this sort of blew up.
Yeah,
so what? So my understanding, I suppose, what I'm trying to understand is, what was your intention to continue to try to work with her? Were you trying to change her?
No, not to. Well, I slowly realized that I couldn't change her. So, what I had to do for me myself was I had to let people know exactly what was going on. I found myself in a unique position. I found myself working with somebody who I slowly started to realize wasn't the person who they tried to portray. And so I had a responsibility upon my shoulders to either walk away. I could have walked away, or to let other people know. If anybody knows my content prior to Pearl, they know I've been quite active in speaking my mind and letting people know certain things. So walking away without saying something is not. It's just not. It's not part of who I am. I know a lot of people have been put onto me via the Just Pearly things, but like I said in my video, Pearl was reacting to me prior to coming to the UK. And if you guys just go on my YouTube channel and scroll down past a year, you'll see exactly what I'm about. You'll see exactly that I'm known for speaking up and known for speaking my mind, known for not being scared to dive into certain situations and say, you know what, to hell with it. That's just what we're going to do. So yeah, that's exactly what happened. I found myself in a unique position and I chose to let people know.
Yeah, no, that absolutely makes sense. And it's interesting because when you started your life now, you mentioned a lot of Black, you know, I feel like you didn't get as much support as you should have. It's interesting when I watched Pearl on the apology tour on Obsidian's channel, and basically some of the Black folks were even saying you got nothing to apologize about.
Yeah.
So that killed me. Like I just
it exposed a huge chasm. It exposed a huge gap within Black thought within the Western world. I think what happened with, sorry to cut you, but I think that's what happened. I think Black people became so, they were divided around different lines before, but this situation has shown just how divided they can be.
Yeah. And what do you think is the reason why there was so much support from the Black community for Pearl? Is it because have we still got? Is it part of what the whole slavery thing done to us? We still have a bit of that servitude mindset.
I think there's a culture vulture and a white savior complex that exists in a lot of Black people. I think what has happened is that we in the Manosphere attempt to tell people that men should be leaders. Right? We say men should be leaders and all this kind of stuff, and we don't act like it. A lot of us don't act like it. A lot of us act not like leaders whatsoever. So I think a lot of us are waiting on a leader, and a lot of the time, sometimes that leader is a white savior. Sometimes, like I said, I was an independent. Pearl was never my boss. To that degree, I was never signed. I was independent. I used to work with her, and we had a co-show. But you know, there are a lot of people out there who use her platform as this savior for Black people, and in my personal point of view, it's not.
Okay. One other question I have for you is, like, did you
I just ask one more because we've got other people waiting? Yeah.
All right, one more. So, did you not catch on, like, when Pearl was talking about this whole, espousing some of the opinions she had? She's never been married. She's very argumentative, very verbally aggressive. So when you talk about being submissive, when she was talking about being submissive, she wasn't living that life. So she's the epitome of a modern woman. Everything she preaches against, because she's all about her money and her subscriber count, and it's come out now what contract she tried to get you guys to sign, or you to sign. So did you not sort of pick up on that this what she's putting out is not what she's living?
I saw a change. Like I said, over the time that I was with her, I saw a change, and I think what you're seeing is what happened when she became managed by a certain company and by certain people, because she wasn't that way prior to certain people coming into the picture. So that's what I saw. I saw a change while I was there. Cool. But thank you though, bro. I'm gonna get someone else in.
No worries.
Yeah, I appreciate you. Thank you for joining, man. D, who we got next, bro?
Oh, welcome, Sarah.
What's going on, brother? How you doing, man?
Yeah, all good, man. I saw you at the meet and greet, bro. But I just wanted to say,
we saw you the other day, bro.
Yeah. I just want just to big yourself up, man, because I always, like I said to you the other day, I want just to say thank you for all the stuff you do, and like the thing that I'm seeing, like I agree with a lot of the stuff that you're saying, and I think that the main thing you got to do is just keep going on your own. Like I saw as soon as you came out with the videos, your subscribers blew up. So I just want to say thank you for all that you do. The only thing I want to say is that the thing that I found the most with Pearl is that she just takes from what all the other Black guys have done, like whether it's Myron with the analogies, whether it's Kevin Samuels, the stuff he used to say, but they bring their own concepts, like how you brought your own concepts. So, I think the thing that I have with Nick Fuentes is that she brought him in as a way of her to kind of like transition out of the red pill thing and try to like become like a chat show host. So in my view, I said this to my brother, I reckon she done that as a way of saying like she wanted to build a network, sell it, and like maybe get like a chat show host, like a prime time thing in London or something like that. While with you, you know, everyone like was falling over her, but I'm like, all the stuff she's saying is stuff that I've heard from other people previously. So, you know, there's no originality. It's not like she's come up with her own concepts. Like when Kevin Samuels talk about Winners Coming or Order 66, those are concepts he came up with. When Myron came up with the candy store or the husband and the wife store, those are things that he come up with, but she hasn't come up with her own thing. The only thing I say to you is keep doing your thing. Do not be silenced. You know, we're here to support you. That's what I'm going to say to you.
Thank you. She tried. She tried. Thank you very much for that.
Do your thing.
Thank you very much, Winston, man. Appreciate you, brother. We got more people. All right, let me do one more because I want to get in. I want to talk about the Manosphere for a sec. MTO, what's going on, bro? Or lady? Could be a lady. Can we hear? All right, let's go somewhere else.
What's
how you
going
doing?
on?
Wakil, how you doing, brother?
What's up? Can you hear me?
I can hear you loud and clear.
All right. Hey, one thing I want to say, right? I'm here in America, and I seen this whole thing go down between you and this chick. So one thing I want to say is that a lot of brothers that I spoke to from over here support your stance. You know what I'm saying? Regardless of a lot of what you see on these YouTube streets with a lot of these so-called, you know, talking heads and influencers and things of that nature. You know what I'm saying? So one thing I want to know, do you think that she was like a plant and that she had like an agenda to kind of like break up the manosphere? Like, was she already like that racist with an agenda? Because it's different. It's a difference in being just racist. But if you're racist with an agenda, then that's a whole different animal. So do you feel like...
I'd say this. I can't say that she was a plant from the beginning. That's not something that I can say. I can say my own personal opinion that she started to be surrounded by people of influence. So maybe people saw that she could be part of, you know, some kind of quote unquote agenda, and then they took advantage of that. But I don't, from the beginning, that's not what I saw. But I did see especially with like her management and stuff like that, which I spoke about in my last video. I started to see some things, and I was like, it never used to be like this, but now it's changed, and there are a lot of vultures out there, you know, looking to take advantage of people. So people need to be careful. So yeah.
Yo, so last thing I'm gonna say, and then I'm gonna hang up. So I want to wish you the best and keep doing your thing, and you know, like keep doing your thing, bro. You're on the right track.
Thank you very much, my brother. Yeah, before we thank you for that, D. Before we get to the second part, I just want to go super chats again. We've got, who do we have here? We've got, King Lemuel. Listen, my brother, that editing on that video was amazing. Thank you very much. I forgot to shout you out. I'm gonna shout you out now. Thank you very much for the $2 super chat. Some Deuces of Growth says, oh, hang on, what I mean, he's here. King Richards wasn't in studio after Nick Fuentes interview. Blessing admitted that he didn't find Nick Fuentes racist in the interview with Obsidian. KR isn't her staff. Her staff is Blessing. Okay. Thank you to Bright Ide for the $1 super chat. Thank you to all that are donating to the super chat. Right. I want to talk about the Manosphere, right? I want to talk about what the Manosphere means. And from my point of view, the Manosphere means that it's a space for men to be heard. It's a space for men to exalt their manhood and to feel like men again. However, when this happened, what I saw were grown men become like bitches. That's what I saw. I saw grown men take the time out of their day to make videos about other men. They have become a bunch of gossip queens. Okay, and that's not what the Manosphere was about. You have grown men making videos about other men gossiping. Now, for me, I've always left the gossip pages and the blog pages to the women. However, the YouTube space has now become, the Manosphere space, so called, has now become a place for gossip queens. It's become a place for men to sit down and find information, do research, and just talk lies and misinformation about other men. And for me, that's not what the Manosphere should be about. That is not what the Manosphere was created for. That's not what the Manosphere would be about. If Kevin Samuels saw a lot of the way that these men today were acting in the Manosphere, he would have a lot to say. He would have a lot to say. Okay. And so for me, there are people out there who have done videos on me and said all kinds of stuff. And I'm just like, how is this manly? You know, like, what is going on? Like, people have found, it's so very interesting. People have come upon old information in a new time. For people that know, I used to be an actor. And people have found like old acting footage and said certain things from like 15 and 20 years ago when I was acting. And I'm just like, how is that relevant to like real life? Like, how is what you're saying relevant to real life? Because I don't know what you were doing 15 to 20 years ago. You know, like, I'm not going to judge you on it, but it just points to the bitchiness and the cattiness that the Manosphere has actually become. It's become a very bitchy and catty place. It's become a place where men sit down and try to research and dox people and make videos about people and make crazy thumbnails about other men. And I'm just like, this is not what Kevin Samuels done. This is not what Kevin Samuels done. Someone's got to bring manliness back to the Manosphere space, because this is not what it's all about. There are so many men, when Kevin Samuels died, there were so many men who attempted to fill that spot. Some have, and some have done a very good job. I will say that. There are some men in the Manosphere that have done a very good job, but the majority that I see are a bunch of men moaning, bitching, and complaining about other men and gossiping. And I would like for the Manosphere to rectify itself. I would like for the Manosphere to right itself and get back to what it's truly about, which is about men's issues. It's about caring about men. It's about a space where men are allowed to exalt their masculinity, and not become a bunch of bitches. Please, can we stop this? Because we are supposed to be the leaders. And women are not looking at this Manosphere thinking, oh yeah, this is a bunch of men that are going to lead us somewhere. They're looking at this Manosphere thinking this is a bunch of bitches. That's what they're thinking. Okay, we are supposed to show women the way. If women do gossip pages, let them do gossip pages. That's not what men do. But why is it that we are now acting like the women that we say are bad? There are grown men doing this now. Grown men with children and family just bitching every day. Every day when you see them make a video, it's about bitching about another man. It's about, quote unquote, exposing someone else. Listen, folks, this is not what the Manosphere is about. Okay? It's really not. D, have we got someone else in there? All right, cool. Let's get someone else on. Yeah, let's get Duke the Don on.
Yo! Shout out to you, Sa Ra. I can't believe where I'm on right now. What's good, brother?
I'm good, brother. I'm good, man. I've been watching you, bro. I've been watching you.
Hey, we've been watching you too, man. First of all, shout out to you.
Dude, if you've got me on the stream, just turn it down so I can hear you
properly.
Let
me put my headphones on real quick. Mm-hmm. How's that?
Yeah, that's better, bro.
All right, perfect. So yeah, we've been watching the whole situation unfold. Now, as you see, our channel, I mean, we're one of those call out channels that go in and we call out people like Pearl and situations like that. Actually, we cover a lot of the beefs within the Manosphere, right? So not just the Black Manosphere, like even guys like Rolo, MLD, a lot of these guys beef. Matter of fact, I think that's a lot of the Manosphere nowadays. Everybody's beefing. Everybody has some kind of drama. It's which I find weird. But one thing that we were noticing is, first of all, a lot of the far right kind of ideology that's been slowly seeping in using the modern woman trope, right? Because one of the main things I talk about is, listen, I'm black, I'm Nigerian, first of all, and I'm black, right, and living in
What
America.
do you mean you're a Nigerian now?
I'm Nigerian now, Igbo. Igbo, man. Yeah,
okay,
Igbo man. Igbo Kwenu now. Come on now. What are you talking
okay.
about? So the thing is, like, but I understand a lot of the experience and the struggles and a lot of stuff that Black Americans go through. But when I see a lot of the far right, when they're coming in and they're using the fact that a lot of Black Americans are just they're socially conservative, right? But just because they're socially conservative, they have traditional conservative values, does not mean that they are Republicans. And what I start to see is a lot of these Republican talking points being parroted. Now, when I started to notice, when I would call out a lot of these white Manosphere leaders like Roel Tomasi and some of these other far right guys, right? And I would call them out on their ideologies and how it doesn't mesh well, you would see people in the comment section talking about, oh, you must be a far lefty or you must be a Republican or this and that, right? Even when it comes to like certain debates and topics, when it comes to reparations, right? I know we differ on that and we don't even have to go into that conversation. But I believe that Black people should. But the thing is, like, you see a lot of these guys, they come in, huh?
I don't know why people think.
We could even get into that later, but a lot of people, the word around town, I don't believe, like, listen, I did see some videos of you saying that you don't think, or maybe it was something with Pearl. I wasn't 100%.
Let me clarify that.
Go ahead.
What I said was, I believe Black people do deserve reparations. Yeah, I do. My point is, I don't think that America is going to cripple its economy for Black people. That's what I think. That's what I think. I think you deserve reparations, but my thing is, you are asking a immoral nation to act morally, and I'm asking myself, how realistic is that? That's all it is. But I do think Black people deserve reparations.
Absolutely. And personally, I think that if it can be done for the Jews, if it can be done for the Japanese after Hiroshima, if it can be done for all of these other groups, matter of fact, when we're even going out and giving Ukrainians money, right? Some of these guys, they harbor Nazis and things like that. But when it comes to foreign aid and military support for white folks fighting other white folks overseas, Republicans and Democrats came together and said, yeah, let's fund them. But then when it comes to Black lives, it's like a completely different story. Because we'll spend the money for humanitarian crisis overseas, but when it comes to Black humanitarian crisis that we're facing here with the American perspective, right, it's all of a sudden, shush, don't talk about it. Hey, how are you gonna afford it? How can you even track down the descendants of slavery, things like that? But yeah, go ahead.
That's what I've been trying to get people to see, is that I'm gonna try and articulate my words as best I can on this, right? If America was built on bloodshed, and it was built on slavery, and it was built on things that are very negative, right? My thing is, what happens in the microcosm happens in the macrocosm. What makes people think America has an obligation to do it? Because what it is that I have a saying: when people show you who they are, you must believe them, right? And if America has shown you what it's about, asking for something is, I'm not saying you shouldn't ask. This is not what I'm saying. I want people to understand. They've shown who they are. You must believe them. People have been asking. And that's what I'm saying. They've given reparations to this country, that country, that country, that country. I said it when I was talking to Pearl, but they haven't given them to Black people. Why? They're showing you exactly who they are. And so a lot of the time is, I have to ask myself, and a lot of people will agree or disagree, how many times am I going to be slapped in the face before I just say, you know what, F it, I'm just going to take it? That's for me.
Yeah, and I hear where you're coming from. I would say the other side to that is it's not so much as America is really asking for. I mean, the conversation is there, and I think people are phrasing it as asking for it, but realistically, it's something that was due. It's owed because African Americans, yeah, it's owed. So like it's basically just saying, hey, when am I gonna get my money that you already owe me? I think a lot of people, especially in the West, they try to phrase the argument as, oh, well, and I see this in my comment section all the time. Oh, you're lefty asking for handouts. How is that handouts when we labored in this country? We're still going overseas to fight. Black lives are being, taken overseas to fight another rebellious war or fund some other humanitarian crisis. But when we come home, we got over 320,000 veterans that are homeless. We still got a segment of the even black population in the military that are on welfare right now. There's a lot of different problems. So I think that keeping the pressure, just like we keep the pressure on a lot of these guys, like guys like Pearl and exposing the hypocrisy, and even Nick Fuentes, come to find out he's one of these pedo dudes now. Marjorie Taylor Greene, one of these congresswomen, came out with a tweet basically saying, hey, the guy that started the Stop the Steal movement, or started the Stop the Steal movement with the whole Trump backing and whatnot, apparently he was using young men that was connected to Nick Fuentes as like a starting point to groom them. And she exposed all of that. And the crazy thing is, I was doing more digging into this because I did a live stream last night exposing it. But I was doing more digging into it, and it turns out that there were other YouTubers that exposed Nick Fuentes for being this like predator, right? So this stuff has been out a long time ago, but we had guys like Pearl who claims that she did her research, and she said, oh, I was just curious, I just wanted to see what he was all about, and which we knew was bullshit because you have a team that makes hundreds of thousands of dollars, all right? So you knew definitely that there were a lot of this stuff out there. My question is now, since she's gone on this tour saying that her staff and her herself doesn't believe that Nick Fuentes is racist, which I think is absolutely ridiculous because he's a self-admitted racist, what are they going to do now with this predatory allegations being tacked on? And Marjorie Taylor Greene is a prominent politician in the U.S., so she has a lot riding on this, just for her to come out and say this statement without backing it up. Go ahead.
Listen, I wouldn't know. I'm no longer in conversation with her. I don't know what her and her team are going to do. Just for me, I'm just saying, I'm just glad she didn't get to silence my voice. Do you know what I mean? And I want people to be very, just be very mindful of people like her who say that they're a freedom of speech advocate and then try to silence people and take away people's freedom of speech. Do you know what I mean? I don't know what the American political scape is doing about Nick Fuentes. So I couldn't even speak on that, bro. I'm not even gonna lie.
Okay. That's fair. That's fair. But yeah, I mean, like I said, even going back to that conversation, I think it's something that's owed, and the more we stop looking at it as a handout or situation or something like that, I think the more that we can start getting a lot of people to kind of understand and see the perspective, because I think that's also part of the argument that a lot of.
I think there needs to be strategy when it comes to
absolutely
reparations. I think that. Just asking for something without having a strategy, if you get it, and I say that's a big if for me, because like I said, I don't think America is obligated to give, I don't think America feels obligated to give reparations. I think they listen to the talk, but I don't know if they feel obligated because that's what they've shown. Like, and I know it sounds harsh, and I'm not saying it's not old, but they don't feel it. It's like asking a bully, yo, I want my wallet back. And he's only going to give it back if he feels like doing it. Like, that's what he's going to do. He's going to give it back if he feels like it. I don't think America feels like giving that.
But here's the thing, America doesn't feel like doing a whole lot of things. But the one thing I find interesting about America versus other countries, like let's say China and all these other things, they tend to cave to public pressure a lot of times, right? They will do things or set up policies when it comes to public pressure being pressed on them. So for instance, when you have certain outcries, right, that would go on where you have clear issues of injustice, like with the George Floyd incident, for example, where you have one of those other rare gatherings where the world comes in and says, hey, this is clearly wrong, America. There's an issue here, right? right? And here's the thing: America has that thing where it tends to backtrack depending on the public pressure. So with you saying that America doesn't feel like they have to, I think that part of the reason why they don't feel like they have to is because part of it is, hey, they set up a system where they have people like us to sit there and stand in the way of that movement, right? They would like words like, oh, you're being emotional, or you're asking for handouts, right? They set up these different structures to prevent that. And on top of that, and part of what you were saying was right too, we don't have strategy to be able to effectively apply pressure to the government to be able to get things done, right? So, and whenever there is a concerted collaborative movement, there's always some kind of infighting that goes on. So for instance, I would even use this whole Pearl situation as an example, right? Where we're talking about black folks from the diaspora banding together and really calling out this type of colonial mentality. But then you have other black folks that then it's like, hey, let's just focus on these other people that look like me and start fighting them, giving them ammo to be able to then start, you know, attacking other brothers, which breaks up the movement. So I say like every single movement that we have set up, I feel like systematically there's a plan. There's an agent.
I'm going to say this. I think it's leverage. I said this I put out a statement about it, and I said you have to have leverage. If America is in debt 1.1 trillion to China right now, right? And last time I looked at reparations, I think it was estimated at like 7 trillion or something like that. I could be wrong. Who's more likely to get that money back? China is. And you know why? Because China's got leverage. China's got power and China's got leverage. The only way in which you get what you want is to have either power and leverage. And I'm asking people in America, do you have the power and do you have the leverage? And I don't think you're going to have the power and the leverage if you're constantly infighting.
That's true, but where I gotta push back, you're right. There is a lot of infighting, right? But where I push back is and I hear this argument a lot, where a lot of people say that black folks, we don't have power and things like that, and that perceived notion of it. And I actually don't believe so. I think as a whole, culturally speaking, black folks, especially Western American black folks, like when we talk about culturally, like hip hop and all that stuff, that's a lot of influence. And then let's talk about the power we have economically speaking alone, like the trillions of dollars that the black population puts into the economy. That's massive power. So again, it comes back to what you were saying earlier about the organization and bringing that back, because I believe that America and a lot of these corporations in America understand very well the impact that black Americans have when it comes to getting certain things done. It's just that the organization of it is what we have to figure out. How do we weed out the infighting so that way we work as a cohesive unit? Because once we start realizing that we work as a cohesive unit, you start to see that the trillions of dollars that we're putting in the economy every single year, once that stuff stops going to Balenciaga, what do you call it? All these Dolce & Gabbana, all these fancy brands that don't even care about the hustle or the struggle anyways, right? That's the thing. So if once we start organizing and reorienting to our communities on that scale, that's when you start getting a lot of people to perk their ears up, right? So start really listening to what it is, because you are right. The money is the big motivator.
I've got so many people trying to get on right now.
I'm sorry. I actually got to get off, but like, I appreciate you having me on, and yeah, we're gonna keep exposing a lot of these guys and keep doing what you're doing, brother. Thanks for having me on.
Thank you very much, Duke, brother. Take care of yourself. We got a girl on. Oh, no. Hey, how you doing? Rainy Fire? Is it Rainy Fire?
Yeah, Rainy Free. I'm gonna have to change the name. I'm new to social media.
Rainy Free.
I want to say this quickly. I'm African American. Sa Ra, I've been watching.
Could you put your camera on? Is that okay?
No, I don't even look. I don't look presentable enough to do that. But I am African American. I've been watching you before Just Pearly. I didn't even know who Just Pearly was. Let me say that.
Right.
I think I discovered you during the uprising of George Floyd because I was watching the news around the world, and that would include the UK. And that's how I think.
The Tommy Robinson interview, is that what you saw? You saw the Tommy Robinson debate?
I don't know, but I was watching a lot of information around the world. So I didn't know all of this. I will say this. A lot of African Americans on the ground don't know who FBA is. And I think that FBA on the internet happens to be responsible for the infighting. And there are a lot of African Americans that are like Taharka Bay, Omawali Africa, which I highly suggest. He's on the ground. He has a YouTube channel as well that you get with. because they've been talking about it in a more constructive way.
Right.
You certainly are our brother. I want to say that to you as an African American,
And you're my sister.
Regardless to how it is seen on social media.
Right.
So with that said, all I simply want to say is that I'm glad you got your channel back.
But
a lot of us as African Americans have been pushing back on the rhetoric that the FBA is delivering to our African brothers and sisters in the diaspora and on the continent. And with that said, I wish you peace. And give me a shout out. And I may even come to you to help grow my channel. Thank you, Sa Ra. Best wishes.
All right, the Rainy Free. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. We got somebody else? Yo, who's that? Lead Clinton.
Hey, what's up, brother? How you doing?
I'm good, brother. How you doing? What's going on?
All right. Real quick. So, Duke the Don, he's a good brother, but I disagree with him. If America wanted to give reparations, she would have. She would have been did it. And as far as the trillions of dollars that we so-called have is a non-factor, because that trillion has to do with consumerism. It's not a focus amount of money that's dealing with institutions, et cetera, et cetera. So it's a non-factor. But real quick, Pearl is a devil. She been a devil, and you gave her the benefit of the doubt. In that video, when you was trying to tell her the book by Walter Rodney, she played stupid. She played stupid. She knew exactly what you was talking about, and she played dumb. She plays this real naive, innocent, dumb thing. She knew exactly what. Because when you asked her, what did she say exactly? The first thing she said was, "No, that's stupid," which means she already had an opinion on reparations and on black people. So that's number one. Number two, as far as the Nick guy, she felt comfortable interviewing him because that's how people in her family are. Her father, her brothers. She felt comfortable. She felt right at home, laughing, joking. And then he said the thing about the Holocaust, and then she added the thing on slavery. She said, yeah, like slavery and all other stuff. Now, when she went on that other show out there from where you at, Trigonometry, she tried to dance around the slavery thing, but as soon as they asked about the Holocaust, she said, oh, not that. No, don't get me on that. So I'm saying all that to say she hides her devilment very well. You understand? And shame on the black people that are still over there. They have shown themselves to be whores, that they'll do anything for money, and they don't have integrity, and they don't have racial integrity. So I definitely want to commend you on that. And the last thing before I get off, you have grifters who themselves have a Neanderthal background. And I'm going to say the person's name, Mike TV. They're looking for content, but these people are hypocrites, because if you go into their own background, they have been arrested for theft, computer theft, theft of property, hypocrites.
Listen,
scheming.
Bro, I'm not about like that back and forth with people. I hear what you're saying, bro.
No, listen. I'm not. It's not about the back and forth. This is not about the back and forth, but I'm talking about what you say.
And I'm not about slandering another man. I'm not about disrespecting.
The truth.
I don't have.
Listen, my brother. The truth can never be slander. If I'm arrested for theft, if I get arrested, me, Lee Clinton, for carjacking, and then you tell somebody, hey, Lee Clinton, look at the news. He just got arrested for carjacking. Here's the paperwork. He got arrested for carjacking. That's slander? That's gossip? That's rumor? I'm asking you now, my brother.
No, it's the truth.
Exactly. But I'm gonna leave it at that, because you're saying whatever. But I'll leave it at that. But I'm glad that your page didn't get canceled. And I think YouTube needs to follow their rules. And if you have people weaponize copyright strikes, then they need to be penalized for that. Because that's like somebody crying rape and it really wasn't rape. That's criminality in that. If you try to arrest somebody, falsely accuse somebody of something, and it comes out that's not true, you should be dealt with according to a court of law. So that's all I have to say, my brother. All right.
Listen, Lee, thank you very much for tuning in.
Keep up the good work. All right.
Wait, but 1 second, D. Lee touched on something, and it was the grifter culture, and it's something that I've seen also within this space. Is people are grifting into different spaces, and they're doing things specifically for monetary value. And I think that we need to be very careful of people that grift and then just pop up. Like I said, I didn't pop up. I popped up on certain people's radar. My YouTube channel has been going for a while. You can go there and you can scroll down and you can actually see that I've been doing this for a very long time. I wasn't grifting, okay? I've always been making content on YouTube that mattered. So the grifting culture within the YouTube space has become another hustle. It's become another hustle. It's become another way in which people put money in their pockets. And I think people need to be very smart and be very mindful of people that come into the culture just grifting. D, how long we got left? Should we have like one more person on before it's time to roll? All right, cool. Yo, how you doing, Dr. Lee? How you doing?
How's it going, brother?
How you doing, brother? You good?
Yeah. My apologies. I just got my hair twisted, so it was itching a little bit. But
No problem.
yeah, my front camera's a little messed up. But yeah, I definitely wanted you to see my face. Oh, just to start off, like, how are you feeling, brother? Like, how emotionally?
It was an interesting time. It was emotional, but now I got my channel back. I'm feeling better, bro. I'm feeling better.
Right. Yeah, just real quick. I don't really want to talk too much on the Manosphere because that's not really for me. I'm not in that quite yet. But just like on a few things that I've witnessed in America, like I've noticed a slight change to where like positions of power are focused on being given to people of like the LGBTQ community. And like around 2019, I witnessed, like, I had a certain conversation, and I kind of wanted to know your stance on this, but I had explained the situation because certain people, I know you know about like the male feminists, correct?
Yeah, there's male feminists, yeah.
Yeah, so the male feminists out here do certain things and say certain things to try to get in a position to like acquire more female attention. So I got into this situation, and it ended up on the news where there was a poster that was, put up on a community space at a college I went to. And it was in response to a conversation I had with a gentleman, and there were a few ladies present. But it kind of like, it was way before the talk of the Me Too movement was like really big and everything else, but it stirred around this man boasting about the whole Bill Cosby situation. And he was almost bragging about how they were able to stay after class to speak on how Bill Cosby shouldn't be treated with like extra, I don't know how you would say, just like more leniency because he was black, and like there are white men that do the same shit and get less.
Where you going with this, brother?
Oh, this is pretty much just all on like the atmosphere of America right now. But I don't want to bore you with that story, but long story short, there's a lot of shit that goes on in America, and I feel like all black people in America do need reparations based off the simple fact that there's a lot of shit that's still going on right now. And the whole point of me saying that story happened to be because all of that attention and all of the assistance is being given to the LGBTQ community. And and trillions of dollars have been given for the stimulus, but yet the trillions of dollars can't be given for reparations. Like, I feel like it's pretty much like kicking the can down the road. so to speak.
Okay. All right then, brother. Listen, thank you. Before we leave, thank you for that, D. Before we leave, I'm gonna just read the last shout out to the super chat crew from Brian Ihunwo. It says, Sarah, welcome back. What's your stance on systemic racism and reparations? You've been gone, brother. I know there's some videos who speak on it before, but curious to know your thoughts and then from then and present time now. We can go into that at another time. I don't like to necessarily play the race card. Racism exists. I think racism is always going to exist. I don't think it's going anywhere anytime soon. I always say I always have a blanketed response to racism. It's as if you've been dropped into a rainforest and you see all of these poisonous snakes, you see jaguars, you see poisonous frogs. You didn't ask to be there, but it exists. The question now becomes, how are you going to survive it? So that's how I kind of see racism. Some people sit down in the forest and say, oh my God, I'm in a forest. There's nothing I can do. There's too many snakes. There's too many jaguars. There's all kinds of stuff. Some people adapt to the forest better than others. When it comes to racism, I always say, how are you going to adapt to it? Because it's not going anywhere anytime soon. Because the subject of racism, I think, is something that people generally don't want to talk about, because what it would do, it would shine a light on you. And that goes for people who are black, white, and all races in between. People generally don't want to look at themselves. People generally don't want to see themselves in the mirror and ask themselves tough questions. They generally want to deflect. So that's why I think it's not going anywhere anytime soon. However, you know, I don't mind speaking about it when it raises its head. But yeah, have you got another super chat there? Oh, there's loads. Yeah, start putting them on the screen. Let me read them out before we go. Thank you to all that donated to the super chat. Thank you to all that tuned into the video. We'll be back with more content soon enough. Thank you to all my new subscribers. I didn't even say thank you to all that got me to 100,000 subscribers. I really appreciate all of you. We're gonna look at this world a little bit differently, and we're gonna try and get a different perspective. So yeah, one after another. Yeah. Okay. Black Rampage says Duke is a chatty patty. He will drown your words. He'll make a point 10 times. Don't let him gas bag on your show. He talks, he'll never talk again. All right. Thank you, Black Rampage. Dr. Lee Chosen said, I'd like to speak on masculinity and the manosphere. I've led the fight on the ground since before 2019. It almost cost me my life. Finished a book too. Okay, cool. Ultra G Block Reign Supreme. Thank you very much for the super chat, Alfred Denon. We should ask for what is old until the end of time. It's what is old to us and must never stop fighting for it. Okay. We got a few more. Do Nigerians owe reparations to FBA NGUS, says Falcon Bits Zach. Shout out to all that donated. It's all appreciated. If everyone hasn't liked the video already, y'all better like the video. Okay. Welcome back, brother, says Samuel Narcisse. Thank you very much, Samuel. Take heed to the message. Says, I would love to do a show with you. My channel is small, but my heart is mighty. Thank you very much. Take heed to the message. Ultra says, fuck your 30%. Thank you very much, Ultra, for that. Viral Short, Sarah, it's good you talk reparations, but there is no black empowerment like the Jews. Says Viral Shorts. Is that it? Listen, thank you guys, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for tuning in. I appreciate all of you. Again, I'd like to thank all that tuned in. I'd like to thank all that helped me get my channel back. We are going to be going forwards, onwards, and upwards from here on out. We're not going to give too much time to detractors. Okay, let's take a road not to give too much time to detractors. So let's try that. Until then, family, take care of yourselves. Peace.